I saw Mr. Penman leave, I was going to answer his question on how we got to where we are in 2017, and I think that had a lot to do with the money that was flowing with his buddy Glassman on how we got both Armar Village as well as this property up zone to where it was. So maybe Penman can look at this. I know he couldn't give his constituents a full 2 hours. I'm sure he's meeting Gaylor probably over at Double Groove, planning their next fundraiser. He's got a lot on his agenda right now. All right. I have 3 kids at the middle school, Fallston Middle School, 1 at the high school. Very involved in the community. I'm on high school boosters. I'm the commissioner of Fallston basketball rec. I've coached boys, girls soccer, boys, girls basketball, and baseball for the last 9 years. A lot of these kids that are in our schools and in the community, I know a lot of the families, a lot of them are here, right? The reason why we're here, it's not so much about us, it's about the future, right? It's about making this place as great as it is when we got here. So, my wife and I moved here about 16 and a half years ago, had our first child. We moved here from Columbia, Maryland. They talk about Columbia and Ellicott City. Oh, it's a great place to live. No, it's not. We had nothing but crime because they continue to do these mixed communities and overdevelopment. If there were trees, just like the ones that are over here, if there are trees, they got to come down. We got to build, right? Yeah. So that's why we moved out of there. Some people talked about the traffic. Obviously, 152 making a left. You know, I like to say we're kind of like Park Griswold here, right? We can't get left. We can't get left. So you make the right, you go down somewhere, you make a U-turn, you come back. The traffic is impossible. I went to the meeting this past, what was it, Thursday? Last Thursday, or was it this Tuesday? I forget. It was this Tuesday I was at the meeting. A lot of flaws in what you guys were talking about. When you mentioned that this apartment building was going to bring 430 trips to the community, but that Jeans gave 681 trips. Like, I know you got a mathematical formula, but Jeans would have loved to have 681 trips going on. And to make your case, those are the numbers you report, right? All right, and then also with the architect, your plans are also flawed because you admitted that for every 1 bedroom you needed 1.5 parking spots. For every 2, it was 2, and I think for every 3 bedroom it was 2.5. I forget the 3.5 because my mind was already going when I was doing the calculation on your parking spaces. You have 80 in the garage. And you said a couple of them are double, but you really can't count them, so when you got to report it, you're not counting them. So I asked, well, how many do you have outside? About 70. So 80 plus 70 is 150. So that means if you have 100 units, every unit has to be a 1-bedroom. Your response was, oh, well, we'll look at it. Maybe we put a garage on one of the second levels instead of the apartments. No, you're not. That doesn't increase your bottom line, right? So what that means is when you look at that plan is garbage because he doesn't have the parking to put in what he wants to put in. You look at all the trees that he wants to keep, and I know you, Mr. Euler, you did say that there were some areas that didn't have grass. You were going to plant some grass, if I believe you said that, right? So thank you for planting a little bit of grass when you do this apartment complex. We do appreciate that. But what that means, and some people talk about all the land that's protected, right? He doesn't have the parking for what he wants to do, right? So this is either just throwing this out there because you want to do something else, or you're going to go later on and try to get a variance or an exception so that you can take down more trees and put more parking. Right? So I'll leave it with this. I said I'm very involved in the community. At the end, someday I'm going to die, right? And hopefully I impacted enough people in a positive way where there's a kid out there that I coached 7 years ago that when he's 50 and I'm dead, he's like, I remember Coach Doug, he was a pretty cool guy, you know? I want to leave that kind of impact on the community. So Mr. Euler, I ask you this, what do you want your legacy to be?